What's going on, everybody? ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. I guess you can call it a review, but it's really more of like something I just want to show and discuss, because this is something I was kind of looking forward to getting. I had a 3D printed Emperor throne that I had made years ago. And I mean, probably 6 years ago. And it's perfectly adequate the way it is and everything. It is made of 3D printed plastic, so it's not necessarily the best. I painted it up. It looks great. It's on my display. I even modded my Emperor and gave him custom cloth so he can sit on it properly. And today's video is going to be about probably one of the most overhyped sets out of the Black Series in general. It's a good set, don't get me wrong. Now, this is not the original, and that's kind of the main reason why I'm here and I'm even doing this video, because I had really no intention on doing a review on this. But I want to forewarn some people that this set is not the original. This is the re-release. And you're going to have to do something to kind of fix the set, which is quite obnoxious, especially if you don't have an Emperor. So we're going to get to that right here. Stay tuned. I'm going to get this all settled up. Here's the packaging really quick. There's the side, there's the back, there's the other side, and we're going to open it right now. Really quick, here's the figure outside the slip cover. There's just a slip cover with 2 pieces of tape on the side. But that's what it looks like. You can see him sitting quite uncomfortably in his chair with his toes pointed down. He comes with his 2 Force lightning hands. He's got 2 heads, 3 on the figure, and his walking stick. Okay, and we're back with the figure set out of packaging. And, essentially this is just a guy in a chair, a guy that we've got before, with Force lightning hands that we've seen before, with a couple extra heads that we haven't seen before this set was released. But it's just really the selling point, I guess, is the throne, the chair, essentially. On the original release, it was far better, and we're going to get to why it was far better as far as the figure goes, which is, to me, really a major part of a selling point to any sort of figure set, is the figure itself, because that's kind of the point, unless they should have just sold the damn chair on its own. But anyway, we're going to get to that. Here's the first accessory. It's his cane or walking stick, whatever you want to call it. We've seen it before in the first release of him, and then the second release of him, which was the Archive edition. So there's that. We've seen that before. We've seen these Force lightning hands with Joruus C'baoth, but initially these hands were made or created for the Emperor and this set. So same kind of hands, maybe different paint detail. I don't have the original, the first release of this set, so I can't really do a full comparison on that at all. Just to knock it out of the way really quick, I'm not going to be doing action figure comparisons really with anybody else for this review. I really want to focus on what this set is all about and my thoughts. So here's the first head. I think they did a pretty good job with this head. And let me just zoom in here so you guys can really see what the deal is. The eyes look pretty creepy. The grin looks pretty creepy. And I think they did a really good job with this head sculpt. It's a little bit shiny, but other than that, I think the hair looks pretty good too. We don't really see his hair in the movie. because he's got his hood up the whole time, but I think they did a pretty good job with this head sculpt overall. Now moving on to the next one, here is the, oh God, I'm surprised, I'm so angry kind of face. I'm force lightning you. So there are some crazy eyes and some gritting teeth, and his wrinkles are wrinkling. Looks pretty good. And then there's the back of the head as well, so you guys can get a good look at that. So there's that. And that's essentially all the accessories. We'll get to the chair in a minute. Here is the underneath head sculpt. We're going to get to that hood in just a moment. Don't worry. Here is the kind of stoic looking head, the traditional regular looking head. Here's the back of the head also. Nothing really too different other than just the face sculpt in the front being far different. But there you go with that. He does have that same kind of clasp that he has for his cloak. And underneath now he has soft goods. And then there's the underneath body for his boots and such that he wears. And then underneath we still have that old body that we're used to with the pinned double jointed elbows. So you can get him standing upright. He does have articulation. He is not a statue-esque figure. Let me zoom out here because I am way too close. So he can stand. He's got his pointy kind of hand to hold his cane, but you kind of have to hunker him down. Sorry, Bumblebee. You kind of have to hunker him down a little bit to get that to... They couldn't make this longer, so he's kind of got to be hunched over a little bit to get the cane to actually touch the ground. So he's a little bit feeble here. Oh, Sonny, back in my day, frankfurters used to cost a nickel. Yeah, you know, that whole thing. You could put it in either hand. I think the pointy finger actually does help look like he's holding the cane in a little bit more natural way. So, but you just kind of have to bend the knees a little bit to get him to kind of stand like a tripod a little bit. I forgot my pennies today. I have to count them at the bank. That's how I pay rent. As far as articulation does go, we're pretty much used to it at this point, but I'll go through it really quick. Head can swivel full 360 if you needed to. It's on a hinge joint. It's on a very old body, like I said. So it can look up, it can look down. Let me see if I can get it to look further up than that. A little bit further up than I did have it. Down. There are no jive turkeys, really. That's just the head kind of juking back and forth. So no jive turkeys. He can't head tilt or anything like that. His arms can go up about that far, and they can go down. A full 360 rotation in the arm if you need it to. Double jointed elbows. He does have a bicep swivel. He does have a swivel at the wrist. He does have a vertical hinge joint on this side and this side, so he can really get into those nice cane old man. I just escaped the retirement home hands, you know. I don't know what I'm talking about. He does have a waist twist and kind of like a pivot back and forth and a little bit of a crunch back and forth with that waist as well. The kind of got to hike these up. Hike my skirt up. His legs can go forward. His legs can go back. He can do the splits about that far. Not that you really need Palpatine to do that. No splits for Palpy. That's okay. Upper thigh swivel, a double jointed pinned knees on both sides. He doesn't have a boot swivel or anything like that. It's kind of sculpted in. You can pointy toe, you can pointy heel, ankle pivot, 2 peg holes, and a partridge in a pear tree. So now let's get to the major topic at hand here, which is the hood, the cloak. itself is garbage. It's absolute hot, drizzling shits garbage. Yeah, it's really bad. It's awful. This is atrocious. This is so bad that Hasbro actually tried to hide the fact that this is not. It should sit like this, essentially. But they didn't stitch the hood. Well, how does this happen? I don't understand that. And like, while I have it like this, and you could always wet this soft goods if you don't have another Palpatine to do what I'm about to do, but you can wet this. It will sit a little bit better. You could also try and glue the bottom of this hood down to the shoulder, and it'll sit the way it's supposed to, kind of just hiding his eyes enough. But naturally, it wants to sit like this, and it looks absolutely abysmal. I'm not going to lie. You can take his cloak off just by unpinning that. We're pretty much used to that at this point with this figure, and taking this off. Now, to fix this said problem, like I said, you could do what I suggested, which is just glue the flaps of the hood down to the shoulders on the cloak, or if you're a seamstress of some sort, you could sew the hood down, or you can do what I'm about to do, because I guess I'm a little bit lazier than normal. You can just buy one of these, which is about $10 at your local Ollie's. As you can see here, it is stitched down on each side, and there's stitching going all the way around. So also the weight of the stitching helps it sit in a more natural way, where this has no stitching on it. I don't understand how this is a thing in 2024/2025, which I'm shooting this in 2025. So I don't understand how this got past anybody, how no one did any quality control, which, Hasbro is not the best at quality control, but it is essentially the exact same body, different robes. There's even no stitching going down each flap for the cloak, which is just god awful as well. This is absolutely atrocious. I would expect this in 2015 or 2013 when the line was pretty much started, but now this is unacceptable on many levels. This is not only unacceptable, but essentially the company lied by showing promotional shots of the hood being a certain way and the figure being a certain way, and then they offered you something completely different for the exact same price that it was released, and the original release had this cloak. So, like, I don't understand how that happens. That is a failure. A complete and utter failure. And maybe it sounds like I'm blowing out of proportion. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Just switch the cloak. Yeah, but you shouldn't have to do that. You paid $45 for this set, and you should not have to do any sort of modding, any sort of reusage of another older figure, which this is from the archive line. Let me look up when this was released. It should say it on the packaging. To 2021. So a figure that came out in 2021 is better suited for this set than the figure that came in the actual set. Make that make sense. A figure that was also now re-released in 2025. This, if anything, should be better than the previous version. I feel like it probably cost them more money to get a different cloak made. And this is far cheaper material. As you can see, my hand is going right through it. On this, you can't really see my hand going through the material. You see this? because it's got almost 2 layers up into here. And because it's stitched. So they completely cheapened out on this figure. I just, this is awful. Looks bad on the company. This looks bad for customer relations. You've completely false advertised what you were offering the consumer. This is really not good. Not good stuff. This is bad. So I'm going to take this off, and I'm just going to compare the two figures, because you may even get to a point where you might not even have to swap them, because I mean, if this peg is still the same body, you can just swap the heads on the old body. I mean, there's a little bit better paint detail here for the head, but it's the same head. So I just, this is baffling. This is really, it's not even baffling. It's just embarrassing. I might actually just pop that damn head off and swap the heads. This might be all that you need to do. There you go. Done. I don't even have to take the damn hood off. Fixed. Now, clearly, like I said, I'm going to have to manipulate this hood a little bit with some water. But it's stitched, and it feels more premium than... oh, God, this is awful. Go to the angry, I'm electrocuting you to death, Luke Skywalker head. Unlimited power head. There you go. I think that looks far better. And I don't even think it matters if you swap the bodies. I mean, you don't even see the neck anyway. Even if the paint doesn't match, you're never going to see the neck, because this is how you're going to have them posed. So, not good stuff, Hasbro. Just sometimes cloth goods can really make or break a situation, and I think it broke the damn situation. Here is the other head. It's kind of he's goofing around Palpy, you know, goofy Palpy. There you go. And then there it is with the hood up. Here is the throne. The selling point, I guess, for most people. There are some color match differences in the buttons from the original. Up top over here with the silver for the chair. And then we've got over here some other buttons that are also painted a little bit differently. I do have a quality control situation here with a little scratch or something on the paint or the plastic, whatever that is, for the purple. Here's the base portion. It's got like some sculpting on there, which is pretty nice. More sculpting over here for some more buttons. Let me move my camera up so you guys can see what the hell I'm pointing out. Some more activator buttons over here. It would have been cool if like a little drawer opened up with a lightsaber. That would have been pretty nice. Here's the back of the chair. I mean, it's a chair. I mean, what else? What else do I really need to show here, I guess? Let's get him seated in there. And I am, like I said, using the old body now. Not that that should really much matter, but because it's the same figure. There you go. There is Palpatine in his chair. He's pointing and laughing at us all for buying this nonsense. So there it is. There he is in all of his glory. He's going to sit on that chair, and he's going to sit on that chair well. Oh, Lord. So there's that. I have a special thing I'm going to show at the end of the video, so stick around. Stay tuned for that. But this is pretty much the selling point here. This is what everyone was kind of clamoring for Upset that it's sold out, and then people were selling it for like anywhere from $150 to $200, which I'm like, this was a reuse. I passed on it initially just because I had the 3D printed set, but when it popped back up for pre-order, I believe it was last year, for a re-release, I was like, you know what, I have a separate scene for him, so I will actually pick this set up, and I'll have one throne for a different display and the other throne for this display. All right, so here's a little setup. I had to move my whole review station on the floor over there. I still have the Joy Toy thing that I've had up for like 6 years now, but or 5 years at least. But here is the little display set. Maybe I'll use this for the thumbnail. This is a 3D printed set. I hope you guys like it. I've got to do something about that. That's just actually just a standing thing. But these are some extra space walls that I had. And then there's the, what was it? The retro carded Luke. And that's technically not the right Vader, but I just grabbed the first Vader I could find. But there is Palpatine back there on the throne. This is the display setup I'm probably going to use. I have a whole another set of walls. I have like 10 walls I'm going to put up, kind of block it all off, but this will do for now. If I had to rate this set the way it is, the way it comes, okay, so final verdict for the set, I would give this set a, let's see if I can do this without messing it up, a 2 thumbs down. I don't recommend that you pick this set up. There's my thumbs down. I don't recommend you pick up the set. I think if you already have the archive Palpatine, you're set. You're good to go. You're golden. Don't spend the $44 on a substandard cloak that can really end up ruining the figure, I think, for the most part. Keep the archive edition one and go and get yourself a 3D printed throne. Paint it. You'll spend a lot less money. It's $45 to $47 probably after, tax or whatever it is. Maybe it's up to $50. I don't know. But you're essentially spending $50 for just a chair and a figure that you already have. So you might as well just get a 3D printed chair at that stage. I can't recommend it. I don't think the money's there. And it's not just about the cloak. I was already on the fence about this set a long time ago, but it does complete this scene. So if you don't have a throne, or you don't have a 3D printer, or you don't know someone that has a 3D printer, or you don't want to spend the money on a 3D printed set, then I would just say pass on this and just go with what you have. You could probably make up your own throne if you wanted to out of some styrofoam and stuff like that. You could paint it up, and that could be even cheaper. But I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to recommend this set at the price that it is. I think this is at best a $30 set. I don't see $45 to $50 for this. I certainly would never pay the exorbitant amount of prices, anywhere from $100 to $200 for this, the original set, which is a carbon copy other than the cloak for this set, and maybe some different paint apps on the control panels. That's it. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Quick, I guess I tried to make it as quick as I could. I hope you guys enjoy this nice little display. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for me. Thank you to Terry Turner, and thank you to Woodman29 for your channel memberships. If you want to join the channel, link is in the description box below. Sorry for the big hand in the way. But link is in the description box below. I do random giveaways for members only. And and there's tiers and other stuff like that. Be sure to subscribe and like and comment That always helps the algorithm and helps the channel grow. I hope you guys enjoyed this review as much as I did, and I will see you guys on the flip side.